because you're first up. We're not going to do the pledge again unless the mayor wants to.
We probably should sing the national anthem.
Okay, somebody start crying.
Stephen, you ready back there? Okay, thank you, sir. We'll call to order the regular city council meeting. Can we please begin with roll call?
Councilmember Schemmer. Witt. Here. Seeley.
Here.
Davis.
Here.
Oberon.
Here.
Mussman.
Here.
Kearns.
Here. Councilmember Mussman.
Thank you, Your Honor. I make a motion we approve the minutes of the regular city council committee of the whole meeting and special council meeting of February 22, 2022, and they be approved as published on March 8, 2022.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion on this? All right. Can we have roll call, please?
Councilmember Schemmer. Yes. Witt. Yes. Seeley.
Yes.
Davis.
Yes.
Oberon.
Yes.
Mussman.
Yes.
Kearns.
Yes.
All right. So we are now at the Proclamation for Living Peace 365. Bethany, go ahead.
Okay.
If you get better photos, Tom.
For over 30 years, the Clinton Peace Coalition, with the collective efforts of the many organizations listed in this proclamation, have worked tirelessly to secure peace and understanding in our community, region, country, and world. The anticipated celebration and education of our community will be presented, felt, and heard 365 days per year, as evidenced by our collaborative name, Living Peace 365. Our collaboration and this proclamation will help our community by working together to provide meaningful educational opportunities and celebrations for our citizenry. We'll fully participate and connect with one another under this name throughout the year, Living Peace 365. Whereas, for over 30 years, the mission of the Clinton Peace Coalition has been to promote a holistic approach to a peaceful lifestyle through the education, collaboration, and cooperation of individuals, families, businesses, organizations, and agencies of our community come before you now as Living Peace 365. And whereas, Mayors for Peace is an international organization of cities dedicated to the promotion of peace. Mayors for Peace was started to support the commencement and negotiations towards eliminating the use of nuclear weapons. Mayors throughout the world have signed on, including Scott Maddasion, Mayor of Clinton. And whereas the Clinton Peace Coalition, in collaboration with the Clinton Community College Diversity Team, Clinton Community School District, Clinton Fire Department, Clinton Police Department, Clinton County Sheriff's Department, Clinton Public Library, Human Rights Commission, MLK Jr. Celebration Team, Sisters of St. Francis, Unitarian Universalist Church, and YWCA Racial Justice Hallmark Team will, through cooperation and education, work together to promote a peaceful lifestyle among Clinton citizens and the community at large, whose collective efforts will now be known as Living Peace 365. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that the City of Clinton, with the Clinton Peace Coalition, will endeavor to speak, work, and aspire to be a peaceful community. Living Peace 365.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Thanks, guys.
In witness where I want everybody.
Yeah.
Tell everybody to sign our poster.
Okay, you can come this way, and then you can just, that way they can do it right. There you go.
I thought maybe you guys need to pass a resolution when you sign it, because that's generally how it works.
Really narrow down what I purchased.
Do you have to burn that one? You would. Okay. Yeah. Okay. We'll start with the public hearings. We'll convene a public hearing concerning the proposed sale of vacated portions of 28th Avenue North and 29th Avenue North east of McKinley Street. Have we heard anything in the clerk's office?
No, we have not, Your Honor.
Is there any citizens that are in the room or online that would like to address this public hearing? If you're online, *6 will unmute yourself for any of the public hearings if you'd like to address them. All right, any council members would like to address the public hearing? All right,
I will. I'll
hearing
do it for
none,
both.
we will close the public hearing. Councilmember Kearns.
Thank you, Your Honor. I have a resolution replacing resolution number 2022-080 and authorizing sale of vacated portions of 28th Avenue North and 29th Avenue North east of McKinley Street. I move it be adopted as presented.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion on this?
So for this one, Your Honor, so when we researched this, we didn't have it enough time exposed to the public, so we had to republish it for that in the paper, so it have the proper amount of time. This is why it might feel like a deja vu for this one and the next one as well.
Okay, any other discussion on this? All right, can I have roll call, please?
Councilmember Shemmers.
Yes.
Witt.
Yes.
Seeley.
Yes.
Davis.
Yes.
Obrin.
Yes.
Mussman.
Yes.
Kearns.
Yes.
All right, we'll convene a public hearing concerning adopting a capital improvement plan for fiscal years 2023 through 2027. Have we heard anything in the clerk's office?
No, we have not, Your Honor.
Okay. Is there any citizens that are in the room or online that would like to address this public hearing? Any council members that would like to address the public hearing? Okay. I do have a statement that I'd like to make. I wrote it up. I'm going to do it now, even though it kind of encompasses the next few items as well. If council chooses to go ahead with the proposed borrowing of the $9 million, we'll be at 83% of our available legal debt capacity, approximately. I've spoke up a few times with my opinion, and each of you know my position on the borrowing as I propose this number closer to 6.5 as presented in the budget workshop on February 3rd, 2022, to start working our debt level to a lower percentage of our overall assessed value. I simply do not think we should continue on this model of borrowing as we have since 2013, where our average total bonding amount has been $9.47 million. Over that 9-year period, if you take out the long-term control plan, it's been $8.4 million, the average. Over the past month, I have deeply contemplated vetoing this borrowing amount, and I still have that opportunity as I feel that passionately about how much money we're spending on capital projects without any regard to our overall debt capacity. I will take part of the blame for that as well. I signed the borrowings the last 2 years with little discussion on the effect on our debt capacity. I understand all the economic factors at play here, and even though we're lowering the levy 32 cents, I still feel that the borrowing should be decreased. In my mind, the lower borrowing, lower debt service levy, which equals a larger drop in the levy this year. Council, you're here to make the tough decisions, and I'm willing to make those tough decisions with you. I think there's still line items on here that can be cut back or moved to another year or reworked to a lower amount. I still think we can achieve a 1 to 1.5 million drop in the proposed borrowing. We've had some conversations recently about lowering the borrowing in the future, and I'm ready to start this year. You can sit here and you can tell me that it's too late, and you can tell me that we haven't talked about it, but I've been having conversations with several people since December, maybe January, about this number. So I don't think it's too late, nor do I think I'm being unreasonable, because we're still here and council can make a motion to make any changes they see fit. So as we're having discussion over the next few items, I'd like to propose two things. Obviously, number one would be lowering the borrowing amount, a minimum of $1 million, which is a small percentage of the total here. And council getting together over the next few months in special meetings or whatever we need to do to create a comprehensive debt management policy. This policy would set us up for success in the future by analyzing, projecting, and determining what the council feels the debt and borrowing policy of the city should be. It would also set a limit on borrowing before the CIP process starts, like Councilmember Schemmers brought up. I don't know if it was last meeting or the meeting before that, and several times last year. I know that. Many cities have these policies. I've talked to some different cities that have a policy, and I feel like we need to do this as well. I understand that this is my opinion. I understand that we can't get it done in 1 year or 2 years, but I think there needs to be an overall debt management plan set by council to address this pattern. This is an effective way to ensure we are operating within our revenue constraints to pay debt, and it also shows fiscal responsibility to the taxpayers who all 7 council members and myself represent. Thank you. So one more time, any council members like to address the public hearing? Okay, hearing none, we will close the public hearing. Councilmember Schemmers.
Thank you, Your Honor. I have a resolution replacing resolution number 2022-084, adopting a capital improvement plan for fiscal years 2023 through 2027. I move that resolution be adopted as read.
A second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion on this item? All right. Can we have roll call, please?
Councilmember Schemmers.
Yes.
Witt.
Yes.
Seeley.
No.
Davis.
No.
Obrin.
Yes.
Mussman.
Yes.
Kearns.
Yes.
We will convene a public hearing on the authorization of a loan agreement and the issuance of not to exceed $8,330,000 general obligation capital loan notes for essential corporate purpose ECP-1. Have we heard anything in the clerk's office?
No, we have not, Your Honor.
Is there any citizens that are in the room or online that would like to address this public hearing? Any council members that would like to address the public hearing?
You guys, I've already said this several times, but Scott spoke well to exactly what I've been thinking all along. And I don't think it's too late, especially when we look at the gas prices sitting outside the door right now and the inflation going through the roof and the fact that we know the next year is going to be interesting, to put lightly. And we're going down a path that we're essentially tying the hands of future councils by our actions and not allowing them to do maybe things that are necessary because of some things we've done. So I think Scott said it well, and I think this is our opportunity to take a look at this. I saw a lot of emails back and forth with council members Schemmers, Connell, and the mayor about this exact thing, and again, it didn't get done. And so here we are one more time, and I go back several years on this, and it's been the same thing every year. So it's obviously the rest of your pleasure, but I feel strongly that he's right on the nose with this.
Any other council members that would like to address the public hearing?
I got a question for Mr. Brook. You had that independent company look at our debt capacity. Did they take into consideration the inflation and whatnot?
Yep. So they ran the what we briefed to all you guys, they ran the overall PFM, which is our financial go-to folks for borrowing. They ran it with some assumptions that we put in there. We've had, for the last 15 years, we've had 2.12% increase in our valuation. It's gone up and gone down. So we used a 2% valuation piece. We used borrowing of the $9 million this year, along with just used the static 7.5 for the next 15 years. With that, our borrowing that actually our available debt capacity would maintain and then slowly start to grow to where when we get out to years 7 through 15, when we talk about, I would disagree. I don't think we're tying the hands of future conference councils. I think we're planting the seed for them to enjoy the shade that's going to come for all this, because what better time in a time of turmoil than to move forward and get these things done when we don't know what's going to be around the next corner. So right now we know what for sure what we need to get done to make the city better and stronger, and PFM reinforced the same work that Anita Dalton did as the Director of Finance and showed you guys that we have the capability. If you look at it as, I'm not sure how $1 million, it might help somebody's personal convictions, but it doesn't overall help any which way, either right, wrong, or indifferent on us moving forward and having the ability. So each and every council moving forward will have the ability to borrow each and every year at least $7.5 million to do things. We also took a look at taking pauses over the next 15 years where we wouldn't actually borrow in those years, and then it goes up astronomically as you start to look at what capacity. To the tune of almost $60 million will be available to borrow in 15 years. And if that's tying the hands of future council, then I have a wrong definition of what that means, because to me, that's opening up the ability for the council and the future residents and the current residents of Clinton to accomplish anything they need to accomplish.
And I'll agree with you on that. I will. I just think we need a policy in place to make sure we're doing that. And I understand the PFM stuff as well. And as I said in there, my point is I just want to start this year. I don't want to start next year. And I know you said personal convictions. That's what our opinions are. And, I represent the city, and that's what I feel is best for the city, and that's why I said that. I'm not trying to put anybody down or say anybody's process or anybody's thoughts are wrong. I'm just saying what I think and what I feel. That's where I'm at.
Roger that.
The other thing that bothers me, and PFM's analysis was just fine, and it does show exactly what Matt says. There's no doubt about that. But the other thing that the council's worked hard since I've got on is keeping that levy under control. Well, what does the debt service levy end up at?
Well, okay, so
Well,
good
I'll
evening,
answer
Mayor
it
and
for
Council.
you.
I'm Anita Dalton, Finance Director for the
It ends
city.
up at over $4.
Negative.
Yeah,
No,
we took known values that we have today and we try to project it out for 15 years.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know who's gonna chisel that in stone and hold anybody to that, because all we can do is use the numbers that we know today.
Exactly.
Okay, and I just have two things to say. Going back to 2013 is when a capital improvement plan was put into place. So you referenced that in your borrowing. We hold a pre-budget workshop every year. The mayor sets the agenda. 2 years I've come to you and asked you for agenda items, and not once have you included this as an agenda item.
Fair enough. I said that I take part of the blame, so that's on me too. I'm man enough to admit that. That's fine.
Okay, 10 cents off of $1 million off of that borrowing is 10 cents on the levy, which for the average homeowner, a $100,000 home with the residential rollback equates to $5.60 a year. Sorry.
And I understand that as well.
I'm a numbers person. Just had to bring that up.
Let's pull up your numbers since we're here talking about it. Let's pull up the projections for the borrowing and the debt capacity and the levy.
Do you have that, Matt?
I sure do.
Again,
It's all projections.
this
yeah.
model is a model built on valuations that we have today.
And so is PFM's analysis, and
Yep.
so is everything we do.
Your Honor, a point of order here, because he asked the question, and I'd like to hear her response before he gets back in the dialogue.
Okay. Anita, go ahead.
I'm sorry, what question did you ask? I thought I was... Oh, sure. Matt can pull it up. I was just adding information that, just reiterating that we're taking numbers that we know today And we're trying to make projections for 15 years from now.
Yes. It's difficult, isn't it?
It is. But why are we acting as if it's
isn't-
certain right
this-
now?
That's not Anita's analysis.
Yeah, that's
Is it on there, or is it right here? Is it a PowerPoint? Oh, yeah. This is in here. Yep.
Yeah, you took
Yep.
my spreadsheet.
This will be easier to read, yep.
Okay.
Yep, and so what Councilmember Cody Seeley is looking at is, we have to use assumptions, and one of the assumptions we used was we really held the local option sales tax in check at 1%, and we held the franchise fee in check at 1%, although we've seen within the first 18 months that franchise fee has been higher than we projected, right? So with that said is, one of the things you have to be able to look at is, when you borrow money, we can pay it back several ways. We can pay it back with local option sales tax, and we can pay it back with franchise fee, and we can pay it back with debt service levy, which then affects the city levy, right, which was the 10 cents that Miss Anita talked about that would come off the levy. So when we do that, and we looked at these pieces and parts, we hold under 85% available borrowing capacity for the next 5 years between 14 and 15, and that's borrowing $7.5 million every single year. We keep it just the same. So there's always available borrowing. And then in FY 29 and 32, it moves from 16 million capacity to 19 million capacity to 21 million capacity to 24 million capacity, still borrowing $7.5 million every single year. Then in the out years of FY 33 to 37, it goes from 29 million capacity to 32 million to 35 to 39 to 44. And I mentioned before, if you just take a few years off, and I took FY 28, FY 31, FY 34, and FY 37, when you do that, all of a sudden then your borrowing pumps up to about $60 million that you have available capacity. Now, I'm not quite sure, but $60 million, what you need for that, because we did a new school for $65 million, but that's a high school. So in that case, it goes from $1.53, which is our debt service levy, which is part of the $15.32 city levy, which, just to confuse you more, is part of the $40.72 overall levy, okay? So we're 38% of the overall levy or less. And it goes to $3.28, which is a rise of $1.75 over 15 years. To borrow $112 million, it goes up $1.75.
What's the above statement that says, all the while the debt service levy ranges from $1.53
Yep, that's if you borrow
to $4.68.
Yeah, if you borrow $7.5 million every year for 15 years, and don't take a break, that's what it comes to. But we're looking at different avenues, and we're also looking at where we talked about at the Finance Committee is, it doesn't start here. It starts with, what are the priorities the city needs to get done? And that's where it begins. And if we need to, and we need to have a policy to be like other cities, that's awesome. There used to be a policy in place for a certain percentage that you could only borrow, even though the state of Iowa tells us you can borrow 5% of the over.
That's not true.
Oh, it was never? It was an unwritten rule.
It was an unwritten policy that the council tried to adhere
Yeah,
to.
Heard that 100 times.
Yep. So basically, the big bar graph to watch is, as we continue, remember, this was built on doing 7.5 million per year. It was built on valuation going up 2% every year, right? Because that's been the average for the last 15. And it shows the borrowing capacity down this line here as it continues to grow. We're all visual people. Basically, we maintain around $14 to $15 million, and then it begins to grow. And this bar graph is not built on taking a few years off here and there, right? Because we talked about we could do pavement management for 2 years, et cetera. So this is the point. It goes from $1.53 to $4.68, but then all of a sudden you take 4 years off, and this basically levels off as far as what you're doing up to the $3 range, and you start to get a steeper increase of what you have as far as capacity, getting to the 60 million mark in FY 37.
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead, sir.
Les Shields, 436 Mill Ridge Road, Clinton, Iowa. I am approximately a 50-year resident of the city of Clinton. And I can tell you that in years past, the person sitting on the city council decided they were not going to raise taxes one dime to take care of needed street work. They were just going to put it off for 1 year. And the next year was not a good time. And they said, we're not raising taxes even one dime this year in order to do the street work. We'll just wait 1 more year. And the next year was not a good time. And they put it off year after year after year that accumulated into decades. And our streets became, it's the best I can say, horrible. And we are now playing catch up. The same prior city councils had an order to separate our combined sewer systems, our combined stormwater and sanitary sewers, that during high rain events sent untreated sewage to the Mississippi River. And the city was under mandate from state and federal EPA to separate those systems. And the city council said, no, you can't make us. If you want to do it, you pay for it. And that went on for years, including lawsuits. And finally, a very visionary city council in approximately 2015, and don't quote me exactly on that date, but they decided enough was enough. It's time to do what we should have been doing 20 or 30 years ago. 20 or 30 years ago when it would have been cheaper. It's time to start doing it. And so we engaged in repairing the streets and at the same time doing the sewer separation work that needed to be done. And we're paying for that now. And you're hearing people complaining about their sewage rates, and you're hearing people complaining about their tax rates. Well, what they're not telling you is how happy they are that they saved money for decades. They did not get assessed to do the things that needed to be done. They saved money for decades. Their grandparents, their parents, their aunts and uncles, they went on to the great beyond where the streets are paved in gold and they have no sewer issues. And they never paid their fair share. And now we're paying catch up. These are items that need to be done to move the city forward, to prepare the city for progress, to prepare the city for new investments and new business opportunities and jobs that we all know we're right on the cusp of moving forward. Now is not the time to say we're not going to invest in ourselves. We need to do the things that have to be done. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Shields. Anybody else like to address the public hearing? Hearing none, we'll close public hearing. Councilmember Kearns.
Thank you, Your Honor. I have a resolution instituting proceedings to take additional action for the issuance of not to exceed $8,330,000 general obligation capital loan notes. I move this be adopted as read.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Can we have roll call, please?
Councilmember Shemmers.
Yes.
Whip.
Yes.
Seeley.
No.
Davis.
No.
Oberon.
Yes.
Mussman.
Yes.
Kearns.
Yes.
We'll convene a public hearing on the authorization of a loan agreement and the issuance of not to exceed $700,000 general obligation capital loan notes for general corporate purpose GCP-2. Have we heard anything in the clerk's office?
No, we have not, Your Honor.
Is there any citizens that are in the room or online that would like to address this public hearing? Any council members that would like to address the public hearing? Hearing none, we will close the public hearing. Councilmember Oberon.
Thank you, Your Honor. I have a resolution instituting proceedings to take additional action for the issuance of not to exceed $700,000 general obligation capital loan notes. Move this resolution be adopted as presented.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion on this? Can we have roll call, please?
Councilmember Shemmers.
Yes.
Whip.
Yes.
Seeley.
No.
Davis.
No.
Oberon.
Yes.
Mussman.
Yes.
Kearns.
Yes.
will convene a public hearing on the authorization of a loan agreement and the issuance of not to exceed $700,000 general obligation capital loan notes for general corporate purpose, GCP-3. Have we heard anything in the clerk's office?
No, we have not, Your Honor.
Is there any citizens that are in the room or online that would like to address this public hearing? Any council members that would like to address the public hearing? Hearing none, we will close the public hearing. Councilmember Davis.
Thank you, Your Honor. I have a resolution instituting proceedings to take additional action for the issuance of not to exceed $700,000 general obligation capital loan notes. I move that it be adopted as presented.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion on this? Can we have roll call, please?
Councilmember Shemmers.
Yes.
Witt.
Yes.
Seeley.
No.
Davis.
No.
Oberon.
Yes.
Mussman.
Yes.
Kearns.
Yes.
Councilmember Mussman.
Thank you. I have a resolution authorizing the issuance of general obligation capital loan notes series 2022 and levying a tax for the payment thereof. I move that this be adopted as read.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion on this?
Yes, Your Honor. I just want the public to know. So I was on this council when we started borrowing, as Les talked about, when we started borrowing a lot of money to make up for a lot of lost time. And I was on the fence, but we had a lot of good projects and a lot of necessary projects that moved the city forward. And I 100% agree with what Les had to say. And I also agree with a lot of what Matt just said. However, I am concerned about the situation as the mayor previously alluded to, and that is my concern. And honestly, I don't want to vote no on all these borrowing items, but that is the only way I can get my point across. And unfortunately, they're all lumped together. It's all lumped as one, and it's 3 borrowings, but the entire thing is lumped together. So I want to be clear on that, and you can go back and you can look at every time we've done this since I've sat here for too long. Thank you.
Okay. Any other discussion on this item? Can we have roll call, please?
Councilmember Shemmers.
Yes.
Witt.
Yes.
Seeley.
No.
Davis.
No.
Oberon.
Yes.
Mussman.
Yes.
Kearns.
Yes.
We'll convene a public hearing concerning adopting the 2022-2023 fiscal year city operating budget. Have we heard anything in the clerk's office?
No, we have not, Your Honor.
Is there any citizens that are in the room or online that you would like, or that would like to address this public hearing? Any council members that would like to address the public hearing? Hearing none, we will close the public hearing. Councilmember Shemmers.
Thank you, Your Honor. I have a resolution adopting the fiscal year 2022 through 2023 operating budget. I move the resolution be adopted as read.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion on this? Can we have roll call, please?
Councilmember Shemmers.
Yes.
Witt.
Yes.
Seeley.
Yes.
Davis.
Yes.
Oberon.
Yes.
Mussman.
Yes.
Kearns.
Yes.
We'll convene a public hearing concerning accepting bids and awarding contract for Lametta Wind Drive Phase 2 Project F-2021. Have we heard anything in the clerk's office?
No, we have not, Your Honor.
Is there any citizens that are in the room or online that would like to address this public hearing? Is there any council members that would like to address the public hearing?
Yes, Your Honor, please.
Sure, go ahead.
This is $400,000, and it's going to start soon. There's contention, and there's a court case. When are the court cases, Pat?
May and August.
May and August. We're going to court to discuss what?
So the trial in May concerns the allegation that we did not have the authority under the eminent domain law of the state of Iowa.
So potential litigation pertaining to how we took the land. Okay.
No, there is litigation.
Okay.
It's meritless, in my opinion.
Okay.
And I don't think I'm saying anything that most commonsensical people don't know. That when the city engineer testifies at length that you need the project for a road, you need a sliver of a parcel for a road. I think the common person understands that that's a proper use of the eminent domain power. So I don't think that there's any serious danger in proceeding with the public project. We've deposited the funds. The statute specifically says we can proceed with the project.
Okay.
Specifically says that.
What would be the ramifications?
And the only question that really, could impede that would be if we had to pay more money for it.
Okay, so there would not...
That's the only argument that has any merit that I can see, that there's still a question about whether we paid enough on the proceedings.
It is your opinion that there could not be a situation where the road that we were to construct could have to be removed or relocated?
Anybody can file a lawsuit.
Okay, so I'm asking, it's
I'm not saying
$400,000 project, is this taxpayers' dollars safely spent right now, or is it better to wait until the court date?
If you want to delay the matter until after the court date, you certainly can. I think the odds of any problem occurring as a result of that argument are slim and none.
Okay.
But
Okay.
if you really want to remove all doubt, you certainly could do that.
I don't understand exactly what could potentially happen after these
Well, the
hearings.
district court could say that the law doesn't matter. We'll ignore the law, and we'll say the city of Clinton didn't have the right to take a tiny sliver of property for a road. When there was no testimony to contradict the city engineer at the takings hearing where he stated, this is our public purpose.
Okay.
And he was very clear what that public purpose was. He went into great detail about the safety aspects of why the road needed to be where it was, why we took the smallest sliver we possibly could so we could connect onto 19th Avenue North Extension at the place where the DOT said it should be.
Okay. Based
on the distance and the sight lines between the various, where the anticipated traffic control devices might be someday. He was very specific about why he needed that. The Takings Commission understood that. The Takings Commission went ahead and awarded $30,000 versus the $20,000 that was proven at the hearing, so they already got more than what the Takings Commission said. So the argument is that we didn't have the lawful authority to do that in the first place, and I'm telling you, people have the right to go to court and they can make arguments, they can try to overturn existing law, but that's what would have to happen.
Okay.
The district court would have to say, we're going to go a totally different direction. We're going to have to buck our Supreme Court, and we're going to have to buck 100 years of jurisprudence that says we have the right to do that.
Okay.
I'm not saying it couldn't happen, because as a lawyer, lawyers don't ever tell you that nothing can ever happen, because I don't make the decision, the judge does. But I think we could probably proceed with very little risk.
Okay.
And I'll be the first one to, you can blame me if, the district court does something different, but
would the
I doubt it.
project be complete by that first court hearing? Do we know? Do you
By
think?
May? No,
Yeah.
no.
Would it just be beginning?
Yeah, we got to wait till the thaw is imminent.
Well, the trial is in May, so if you want to wait,
The first
the
trial.
whole thing's going to be taken care of by then.
Yeah.
And
Well, but Mr. Brooks just said it won't even be in by that point.
okay.
The great news, though, is when it does get in, it's, as we've talked before, too, not just hang on negative things, but great for development. There's great parcels there. The Lions Tech Park has an area there. There's parcels that are already developed for homes. Our end state goal is to connect 10th Northwest eventually through a developer, which the Prince of Peace folks will be happy, so there's people not going through their parking lot. So we just look at it as from the economic development standpoint, and for Unity Christian, really enjoy those folks, and this is $408,000 that they don't have to pay for. We're putting sidewalks in, we're going to give them their own private drive that they can put a gate on that will come off this. I think it's, my opinion, like we said before, it's a win-win-win, meaning it's a win for the community, it's a win for Unity Christian, and it's a win for future development in that area. And I look forward to this, and I'm with Pat on this. I think the county commissioners that offered this at $30,000, and I would take as a strong word, but the city paid $30,000 for their land. We didn't necessarily take it. We can mince words on that. But I just think for Unity Christian.
Right, we paid the required damages
Yeah.
for it.
as required by law.
Cool.
Okay.
Any other comments?
If
Councilmember
we,
Kearns.
thank you. If we happen to pass this and it comes up to where it's getting close to the court dates, we can just hold on the project and we're not wasting any money.
And we
There's
talked
no, and there's no injunction in place.
No.
The court
I
has
know.
not enjoined us, so I don't know what there's no requested relief before the court to enjoin anything, and it's too late for that.
Okay.
The takings commission hearing already occurred, and I don't see the court entertaining such an idea.
I'm asking these things because I really don't understand what could potentially happen at this hearing. You know, so you clarified that very well. Thank you.
Okay.
And another piece we always like to talk about.
I mean, it's a
This
good
was-
point. You're raising a good point, Councilmember Seeley, that there's pending litigation.
Anytime I hear that, I
would
get
ask that
nervous.
question. I would ask that question too if I were you, but what I'm telling you is that the argument, anyone can file a lawsuit, and the argument is not a good one. It's an argument that cuts against every principle of law that we're aware of.
I feel bad.
I thought you were going to bring up, what was our thought of the cost of this?
What do you mean?
For this, because you usually like to look at the...
Oh, no. I
Yeah.
looked at that. Oh, yeah.
So we were...
No, the bid was competitive.
Yeah, so we were looking at like, $500,000 plus, and the bid came in at $408,626. So that's really awesome as far as that bid, and happens to be the gentleman that did the Emma Young Pond.
Nice.
Yep, so Russ will be doing the dirt work, and then he'll have a subcontractor for the road to go in there, so.
All right. Any other comments for the public hearing? All right. Hearing none, we will close the public hearing. Councilmember Kearns.
Thank you, Your Honor. I have a resolution accepting bid and awarding contract for Lametta Wind Drive, Phase 2, Project F-2021. I move it be adopted as read.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Can we have roll call, please?
Councilmember Shevers.
Yes.
Whip.
Yes.
Seeley.
No.
Davis.
Yes.
Oberon.
Yes.
Mussman.
Yes.
Kearns.
Yes.
We'll convene a public hearing concerning accepting bids and awarding contract for North Railroad Safety Improvement Improvements, Project L 2021. I've read a lot of these tonight. Have we heard anything in the clerk's office?
No, we have not, Your Honor.
Is there any citizens online or in the room that would like to address this public hearing? Any council members that would like to address this public hearing?
I just want to hear this one more time, City Administrator Brooke. We're going from how many crossings to how many crossings and how many whistles?
So depending on, I have one gentleman, we still are arm wrestling over this. He says 21, but I counted 22 that we started out this procedure with, basically from Eagle Point Park all the way down to the Historical Museum at 6th Avenue South, right? 22 crossings. So at the end of the day, what's going to happen is we're going to actually have 16 crossings, not 22. And we're going to have 12 of those be completely secure in accordance with the federal regulations, with the lights, with barriers where you can't do a U-turn, which then gets you to the quiet zone, right? I almost said silent zone. The quiet zone. There's going to be 4 that it wasn't feasible to do because the area over by Jewel Osco and by Air Control and Custom Pack, because the road Roosevelt parallels that, it's just too close to that. So instead of having 22 times 4, which is 88 horns, because you're supposed to have 4 horns per crossing, we'll basically go down to 4 times 4, which is 16. So people will get better sleep in Clinton. There'll be less crabby. No, hopefully.
They put me to sleep. The train lives up, put you to sleep.
So 22 down to 16, and of those 16, 12 will be fully functionally federally regulated quiet zones.
Nice.
All right.
And this is the north end, sorry. This is
North
the
end. Any other comments for the public hearing? Hearing none, we will close the public hearing. Councilmember Davis.
Thank you, Your Honor. I have a resolution accepting bid and awarding contract for North Railroad Safety Improvements, Project L-2021. I move that it be adopted as read.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion on this? Can we have roll call, please?
Councilmember Shevers.
Yes.
Whip.
Yes.
Seeley.
Yes.
Davis.
Yes.
Oberon.
Yes.
Mussman.
Yes.
Kearns.
Yes.
Audience comment section. I did not receive any yellow cards, but I will give the opportunity if there's anyone in the audience that would like to address the council. Here's your time. Anybody online? *6 will unmute you. Okay, hearing none, we'll move on. Consent agenda, Councilmember Seeley.
Thank you, Your Honor. I move the consent agenda as presented. I make a motion, we approve the consent agenda as presented on the attachment.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Discussion on consent agenda.
7P is in Paul and 7Q.
Zone.
It's 2 weeks, 2 times in a row, Bill.
All right. Councilmember.
Great minds think alike.
7G.
Yeah.
7G.
Any other discussion from council members on consent agenda?
Mr. Ron, can you help me out? Could you call for 8E, the facades?
80.
Is it the facades?
8E? That'd be on
That's not
resolution.
I'm jumping ahead.
Yeah, we're on consent.
I'm sorry.
Stay with us. Anything else? All right, can we
I'm staying with you.
can we have a roll call vote on the balance of the consent agenda? I know the public hearings were long.
Yes.
Yes.
Seeley.
Yes.
Davis.
Yes.
Oben.
Yes.
Mussman.
Yes.
Kern.
Yes.
Council member Shemmers.
Thank you, Your Honor. I move that we accept the claims to receive, improve, and place on file for 3/8/22.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion on the claims?
It's okay.
Can we have roll call, please?
Councilmember Shemmers.
Yes.
Witt. Yes. Seeley.
Yes.
Davis.
Yes.
Oben.
Yes.
Mussman.
Yes.
Kern.
Yes.
Councilmember Seeley.
Thank you, Your Honor. I have a resolution approving requests for proposals and approving minimum development requirements and procedures for disposition of certain property located within the downtown River Lions urban renewal area and soliciting proposals in accordance with the request for proposals. The properties 315 South 2nd Street and 317 through 327 South 2nd Street. I move this be adopted as read.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion on this?
Your Honor, this is the old Strand Theater property, and the city...
It is. And RSVP. RSVP as well.
Yeah, I forgot we acquired that, too. Anyhow, the city is going to be selling this property, and this is exciting because it needs done.
Well, we're requesting proposals.
Yes,
We're
so
not
we
selling
need
it at the moment.
proposals.
Yes.
Yep, and the intent is not only bidding on the price to procure it, but also demo involved, and then also the amount of investment that they'd like
I
to put.
thought the packet was very thorough. I liked how it outlined everything. I thought it was very good.
I am how we talked about it at
No.
past meetings.
Did you
and
do it?
how we
No.
put it together.
I did it all, no. So that's Jenna from Allers and Cooney
Oh,
that was on the
she
phone
did a
with
very
us.
good
Yeah.
job on
Yeah,
it.
just
Yeah.
it was, and it read very well.
It did.
Everybody
It made
understands
it
what's
made
happening.
sense. There was really you didn't have there's nothing that was confusing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think this route is a good way to solicit development in that
Yes.
area right there.
And see if anybody's seriously interested.
Yep.
Yeah. Get serious. Yeah, serious people interested. Let's make something happen. So, any other discussion on this? Can we have roll call, please?
Councilmember Shemmers.
Yes.
Witt.
Yes.
Seeley.
Yes.
Davis.
Yes.
Oben.
Yes.
Mussman.
Yes.
Kern.
Yes.
Councilmember Oben.
Thank you, Your Honor. I have a resolution approving $5,000 contribution to Synergy for the murals project. I move this resolution be adopted as presented.
Second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion on this?
See, you're going for your microphone.
I think we should have pushed it to the end and made you guys sit here longer. Yeah, come on up. All those years that I had to be in your classroom, that would have been my payback.
It was somewhat painful already. But we are totally excited. This has been a 2-year project with the students. Some of the students, they've worked really hard. They're not here. I'm getting a little choked up because I saw when they looked out that window back in March of 2021, and they said, "Hey, murals, what are we doing?" I said, "Well, I don't know. What do you want to do?" And boy, they ran with it, and we continued to run with it. And we've had a tremendous amount of people and support, not only from the council, but from people in the city,
citizens, numbers of businesses. I mean, it is unbelievable what has been happening in just the last, would you say the last month, Mr. Swanson? And we're going to move forward, and we're really excited. And my dream is that when those kids graduate on the end of May here, that they can go down and they can look at the first mural. And not only that, but the excitement that is being generated with the I Believe in Clinton material, and just having conversations with friends, neighbors, business associates. It's catching. It's really catching. So anything that you guys would want to do to help us get this, we are more than happy. Let me tell you, I've taught for over 40 years, and I feel like I've done more teaching and actually have learned more in the last 2 years than I did in the previous 38. Not to take anything away from my former students. But we want to thank you so much.
His class was one of the best classes.
Thank you.
I'll tell him that now that he's retired.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
All right. Any other discussion on this?
I just want to say, Karen's hiding in the back, but Karen helped out a lot. And from my standpoint is, when I think of synergy, I just truly think of energy. Mm-hmm. And that's, I think, what you're feeling up there as well when you guys are working with them is the energy, and it's I love the youth takeover, right? If this is going to be yours someday, so keep working on it, and that fires me up in my day too. So I want to thank them for bringing that energy into me.
Well, that's the problem is tonight, most of them are in a school play, musical, they're doing something. And the other thing, too, is that when these kids came into the program, they were like a lot of younger people. The world's a big place, and they want to go out and check it out. But a lot of them are going to stay right here. And they're spreading the word, and they're going to make it all happen. So we're really, really happy and excited for that. I mean, just to see them.
Yep.
So, yeah, thank you.
All right.
And I think we got RK Graphics got both their faces figured out, so we can have both their guys' faces on the mural.
Any other discussion from council? All right.
I guess I only have one more comment. We had written in the letter about asking for, I don't know if we need formal permission to use the city flag for.
We got something coming up for you.
We got next item.
Hang a little bit. Hang for the next thing.
Don't run out.
We got another half hour.
45 minutes.
Can we have roll call, please?
Councilmember Shemmers.
Yes.
Witt.
Yes.
Seeley.
Yes.
Davis.
Yes.
Obrin.
Yes.
Mussman.
Yes.
Kearns.
Yes.
Councilmember Witt.
Wait a second. Thank you, Your Honor. I have a resolution authorizing use of the city flag by Synergy for limited purpose of assisting with the I Believe in Clinton campaign. I do something to...
Move the resolution.
Thank you. I move the resolution to be as adopted.
Second. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion on this?
I saw it on 2nd Street.
It is on 2nd Street.
I won't say where. But it looked good.
Weird. I will say, I got a little flack for that from different people because I used my power to get it first. And I said, we're the only person in the city that has the board that way, the vertical instead of the horizontal. So I said, it's not going to look good on yours anyway.
Would it work on the show, Pope?
No. And I appreciate the shout out from Synergy on the Facebook too.
I don't know. It might be small.
Is it small?
Yeah.
We'll figure it out.
Well, it's like this.
Yeah. Any other discussion?
We need to get a picture if you buy it.
I tried to get a picture the other day, and you got to go the right time of day because the sun is bad. So, not to digress, right?
We put a little.
I want to make a plug for the lighthouses.
Put it in the lighthouse?
Put all the I Believe
on the
Clinton
lighthouse.
on all 4 of the lighthouses.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Note to self.
Front page.
You gonna paint it, Greg?
I'll go up and paint it, sure.
Oh, you meant the
lighthouse
lighthouses,
is
not
on
the
the river.
lighthouse paper.
No, on the river.
On the river.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought you meant the paper that we send out.
Well, that too.
Well, you put it in there.
Yeah, that would
Yeah.
be good too.
We can have one so the boaters can see it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And on the pool, and on the band shell,
Oh, we're rolling.
and on the stadium, the backside of the stadium that's green.
Greg's going to be the lead for the I Believe in Clinton campaign.
Just give him a template. He can run around.
And I want a flag in my front yard.
You're going to have the green thumb, but that's paint thumb.
Any other discussion? Can we have roll call, please?
Councilmember Shemmer.
Yes.
Witt.
Yes.
Seeley.
Yes.
Davis.
Yes.
Oben.
Yes.
Mussman.
Yes.
Kearns.
Yes.
Councilmember Kearns.
Thank you, Your Honor. I have a resolution approving community development block grant coronavirus for 10 buildings to participate in the City of Clinton commercial facade project. I move it be adopted as presented.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
I have a special request. So I met with number 3 and 4 on this, 392 and Eagles, and they basically, they're going to do a little modification to theirs and reduce it, so we had some space left.
Okay.
And I would like to make number 11, propose a motion that we add Lafayette Building
Yep.
to number 11. So why this is important is our current facade grant is with the Wilson Building, and that's the normal CDBG, Community Development Block Grant, that you can only have one open.
Yep.
This is because of Davis-Bacon, this would possibly allow them to close on the property and get the project going, and then start going with $300,000 that would go on the north, south, and west sides to do windows and some tuck pointing.
This won't hold up what we're doing, though, right?
No, not at all. We're just going to
Since-
include it.
So you're going to have to scramble to get.
Willett Hoffman, we have a meeting tomorrow, if you guys say yes, to add this on the line. And Willett Hoffman, I already talked with Bryce from Bush Construction. We're going to have a Teams meeting tomorrow to come up with the concept, but they're going to keep it simple. Windows and tuck pointing on the very top.
Did Dan already give you a definitive amount to go to so you know the exact?
Yeah, so, well, the amount we're going to, that your guidance to me was make sure our $200,000 stays below, because that's our match. We're at 189 with adding them.
Oh, okay.
Adding them.
Okay.
And so what we get the sense of, though, this is ECIA, we're going to have to thank them, because this is literally almost 22 facades.
Yep.
Because there's sides, fronts, but the neat thing is several of these can be done with just windows and some nice things that won't take a lot of time from ECIA, because they have to be in the process to do that. So I want to add number 11, which is 601 South 2nd Street, for the Lafayette Building, which could help them get them over the hump to make this.
I'll make the motion.
Yep.
I'll second it.
And do you have a 12, Matt?
That'll be a building that Councilmember Celia, no.
Anything there?
Is going to buy a brew pub or? No.
Maybe I should. Yeah.
All right.
So just to make
Yep.
sure, we're eliminating 3
No,
and 4.
no. We reduced the amount.
Oh, we reduced
So
the amount for 3 and 4.
So we still had,
Okay.
we still had space for our $200,000, and by putting, just complicated a little bit, but by putting about 416, and then you back out the cost for the architect, back out the cost for ECIA, put their match in of 127,000, put our match in for like 25, we still come out at 189.
Yep.
Okay.
With a little wiggle room.
No, I think for 3 and 4, I think the cost got a little more than they were able to, they needed to back it off just a little
Yep,
bit.
and you can't work, so if you're not doing a big project like Wilson or Lafayette, you can't work inside the building as they're doing
I know
outside.
it. What's
You can
that?
have your business
Yeah.
operating, like, so Happy Joe's and Stelli's, they can keep doing their business. But if you don't have a business there, you can't actually be doing, which is weird, construction on the inside of the place. And they really want to spend some time. They have a really neat concept. I think it still work. What Dan came up, and I got to go back to him, is it'd just be a narrowed down version, but it's still going to look really sharp.
Yep.
Still have 3 different businesses they can have in there, so.
Cool.
All right, any other discussion on this? Can we have roll call, please?
This is a roll call on the amendment.
Roll call on the amended motion.
Okay.
Yes.
Councilmember Shemmer.
Yes.
Witt.
Yes.
Seeley.
Yes.
Davis.
Yes.
Oben.
Yes.
Mussman.
Yes.
Kearns.
Yes.
Councilmember Mussman.
Thank you, Your Honor. I have a resolution establishing a public hearing for the.
Wait.
What?
Roll call on the amendment and then a
We
roll
don't,
call on.
we don't have to do a roll call on the original.
I thought we had to roll call the amendment and then roll call the entire thing.
We do that on ordinances. We have not
Oh,
done
okay.
that on resolutions.
Well, if you amend a resolution, you have to vote on the amendment to the resolution first, and then you vote on the resolution as amended.
That's what I thought, so we do need to
We
do
don't do that on any.
We don't normally follow that on resolutions.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you would.
I don't think so.
We can do one.
I don't think we
Roll call,
have done that, but that's fine.
We can do it next week.
Well, the proper procedure, first you need to modify what you're going to approve.
Yep.
And you vote on the modification, so everybody knows that it's been modified. And then
Correct.
Yeah.
I know we've done that on the ordinance side, but we've never done 2 roll calls on the resolutions, not that I remember, but that's okay. We can go through.
We have, Mayor.
All right, okay.
I remember several times we did that.
All right. Lisa, can we have roll call on the original motion then?
Councilmember Shemmers. Witt. Yes. Seeley.
Yes.
Davis.
Yes.
Oben.
Yes.
Mussman.
Yes.
Kearns.
Yes.
Councilmember Mussman.
Thank you, Your Honor. I have a resolution establishing a public hearing for the vacation of the entire street right-of-way of Mount Pleasant Park Road.
Nope.
I move that.
We're on
You're reading
8F,
the
sir.
wrong one.
Oh, hey.
He wants to get this done.
He does.
Thank you, Your Honor. I have a resolution approving parking restrictions in the 1200 block of 12th Avenue North. Move that it be adopted as read.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion on this?
We can skip my consent agenda pull because I was just going to let Mr. Ludwigson know it was approved by the Traffic Study Commission.
Well, we'll have to go through it anyway since we
Yeah,
pulled it,
that's
but that's fine. I'd like to thank Mr. Ludwigson for bringing this to our attention. This is exactly what we need from citizens when we have a safety issue like this, so
And that street did need it.
we appreciate that.
Thank you for taking your time to look
Yeah.
Thanks for coming.
Well, Brian, you should be thanking Brian. He's the one that did it, right? He spent his time. Cool. Any other discussion on this? All right, can we have roll call, please?
Councilmember Shemmers.
Yes.
Witt.
Yes.
Seeley.
Yes.
Davis.
Yes.
Oben.
Yes.
Mussman.
Yes.
Kearns.
Yes.
Councilmember Witt.
Thank you, Your Honor. I have a resolution establishing a public hearing for the vacation of the bridge right-of-way located at the end of Beaver Channel Parkway. I move that the resolution be adopted as read. Thank you.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion on this?
I did have lots of council people. I think almost everyone.
Oh, I wasn't the only one?
No.
Okay, good.
But it's a good thing. So this is kind of weird, but I just want to bring it up. So Alliant actually owns the bridge, 3/4 of the bridge on Beaver Channel Parkway, which is, just to get you acclimated, it's where our old wastewater treatment plant is, the old coal plant, Allied, that was torn down. And so they came forward to us. We just thought it would be a great win-win. They're going to take ownership of it, maintain that bridge. We still have the ability to use it, to go there. And I think my opinion, there may be something working in the ways of the future that something could go there. That's what, and I have no other news than that, but I'm just thinking out loud that, which would be a great thing to put something new down that area. So
Yeah,
it's weird.
yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Part of the history of that is because that original bridge before that plant was built was actually owned by the city way back in.
Oh, way back when?
Way back when, yeah.
All right. Any other discussion?
The rest of the story, Paul.
Can we have roll call, please?
Councilmember Shemmers.
Yes.
Witt.
Yes.
Seeley.
Yes.
Davis.
Yes.
Oben.
Yes.
Mussman.
Yes.
Kearns.
Yes.
Councilmember Mussman.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'll try this again. I have a resolution establish a public hearing for the vacation of the entire street right-of-way of the Mount Pleasant Park Road. I move that this be adopted as read.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Go ahead.
Yeah, so this, just to catch everybody up, this cottage bluff that's going to go up Mount Pleasant will no longer use this road. It'll be put into the overall parcel, and there will be 2 entrances and exits off of Ikes Peak Road to get there. So that's why we're doing this in the step process as we get everything checked off, moving towards the final of this.
All right. Any other discussion? Can we have roll call, please?
Councilmember Shemmers.
Yes.
Witt.
Yes.
Seeley.
Yes.
Davis.
Yes.
Oben.
Yes.
Mussman.
Yes.
Kearns.
Yes.
Councilmember Oberon.
Thank you, Your Honor. I have a resolution in support of Clinton Area Chamber of Commerce Clinton Regional Development Corporation and the Convention and Visitors Bureau merger into the Greater Clinton Partners for Growth. Move this resolution be adopted as presented.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion on this? Can we have roll call, please?
Councilmember Shemmers.
Yes.
Witt.
Yes.
Seeley.
Yes.
Davis.
Yes.
Oben.
Yes.
Mussman.
Yes.
Kern.
Yes.
Councilmember Davis.
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. I have a resolution authorizing execution of a master service and subscription agreement with ChargePoint for EV charging station. I move that it be adopted as presented.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Yeah, can you run through kind of what we talked about? Because
So I have to go back a little further, though, because
Yes.
this all started with Mayor Scott getting gifted a Tesla EV electronic vehicle apparatus that we're going to put at the marina for vehicles. So then we started talking 2 years ago during the CIP, and we added $10K for FY22 for a EV station, because it all started actually a little before that Tesla one. When you look at the map and people are traveling, there was 0 electric vehicle stations in Clinton. And if you look at across the country, it's an abnormality not to have one in your city. So we thought this would spur on some economic development. We're going to put the one at the marina. This one here, particular for Carbon Day, will be outside of the annex in downtown. It'll have 2 charging units that's with it. It's about $10,500, which is about $500 over the top, but I'll do some extra work to get the extra $500. The plan right now, though, is not to charge at either location. The Tesla one you can't anyway, but this one, but we wanted to pay and get this in contract, because if we ever want to switch it to where you can slide a credit card in to charge, we don't know if we will or not. We want to take the whole next year to figure out what's the usage. Because the last I checked, and I think it might be 8 months, I told you 6 months, there was only 33 electronic vehicles in Clinton County. So not only is it for the folks that are here, but also people that are traveling through, and that's why we did the marina, because then they could come to, the riverfront. We did the annex because it was a short run from the annex out to the curb there to be able to have one in the downtown. That's why we picked the first 2. Our hope is everybody out there, all the fueling stations, like when you go down to the Quad Cities, we just had this, did we just talk about this? Yep. You go down there and like Hy-Vee, there's 6 of them, And so we're not trying to take business away from anybody. We're trying to bring more folks in, and we think as we start to see the growth of electronic vehicles, we'd like to be part of that, Highway 30 traveling, you could stop off in Clinton and get charged. So that's where
right. So at the moment, is there an annual fee for this, Brian? Did you know that? Do you know that?
$350.
$250.
$250.
$250 is the fee.
Brian emailed me all the info.
Okay. And then obviously they get a portion of it if we start charging. Is how it works?
He's ready.
Mayor. Matt, Lisa, Matt O, Brian Lemke, Public Works. Yes, there is a fee. So it basically, there's a commercial cloud plan, and that breaks down from 1 year to 5 years. So we're doing the 5-year, which is $263.80 per year per plug. And as far as the charging and everything goes, all that's is tracked by the cloud. So every time somebody uses it, it shows the kilowatts and all that kind of stuff that's used.
Perfect.
So it's actually a great information. And then we can put whatever amount we want to charge in there, which will be 0 to begin with. And then we'll,
evaluate from
decide at a later date.
Okay. So, Matt and I talked before that I was a little confused on that too, but this is kind of what we approved. It's just in order to buy these things, we had to get into an agreement like this, because otherwise, the Tesla one is not necessarily made for what we're doing here. But
it'll be great, though.
But it was free.
It's a great gift. The Tesla one's perfect because the Public Works crew is going to actually put a nice station there where you can pull in and charge it, but it's really meant for inside of a garage.
It is.
So you pull in and
I was a little disappointed when I got it, but beggars can't be choosy. I'm like, it's free. We'll put it up. We'll do it. We'll get on the Tesla map, and so
Right. And Carbon Day will do any vehicle.
So
which is
right.
nice.
Yeah.
Brian, what's it going to cost to install this? Because it's $10,500 not installed, and then we got another $2,600 for the 5-year subscription.
We call that cost Joe.
Yeah, it'd be minimal. Joe Gandrup has installed them before.
Are you just going to run off one of the light poles?
No,
we're gonna put a meter down there. Joel's gonna take care of all that, and then we're just gonna cut a little, probably about a 6-inch path through the concrete, put the wire through, terminate it, and then pour the concrete. Probably, it's not even going to be a half a yard.
We also, won't we get some credits from Alliant as well?
Yeah, I got to fall back. Paula says. Yeah.
Paula talked to us about that too. We may get some credits from Alliant for installing as well, so.
So this is going to be free to use?
Yep.
At the moment.
We're going to put in gas pumps around town too next.
We already have those in, we just haven't told you. No,
You did, oh, you're keeping it.
no we have one at the marina.
I mean, Macokota has 2 of them.
Yep.
Mount Vernon has 1 or 2 of them. So
Electric charging stations?
Yeah.
Did the city of Macokota install them or a private
that I
organization?
couldn't tell you.
Yeah, so when I went up to Dubuque's and looked at theirs, they have them, and then they also have them in Galena, and they also have them, I basically stopped at Bellevue, I did the whole trek up, and then I talked to the folks from Dubuque and then the folks from Galena, and they did it, when you're at Galena, it's basically on the east side, closer to where the river is. They have a couple that are set up there, and it's right by their post office, so people are parking, and when people basically plug in and they go eat lunch, or, go do their stuff on the main drag and then come back and get their car, so. And they had a lot of, they went with the dual, because it's just, for them, they said it's more economical to have a dual station set up there. You put one in, but you can have both parking spots could be charging.
Cool. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Brian.
Any other discussion? All right. Can we have roll call, please?
Councilmember Shemmers.
Yes.
Witt.
Yes.
Healy.
No.
Davis.
Yes.
Oberon.
Yes.
Mussman.
Yes.
Kearns.
Yes.
Councilmember Shemmers.
Where were we?
8K.
Your Honor, I have a resolution approving an extension of the owner-occupied roof rehabilitation program. I move this resolution be adopted as read.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion on this?
It's a
I don't know if
great
we have anybody in the
program.
audience, but,
She's peeking above the podium.
Hi, Sierra Peterson, Chair of the Neighborhood Improvement Committee. First, I'm glad to see that this is continuing, as we showed that there was an extreme need for this within our community last year. I do have a couple concerns over the document.
Oh.
There's been a few changes on there. The income guidelines, the guidelines that we had set originally when we had worked with ECIA are actually a little bit higher than the guidelines that are being proposed this time around. They actually vary for the first person. The second persons are a little different. The first person, the one income household, I do believe that we have a lot of people that are on disability in one income households that may possibly be over that income guideline, and based on the staff recommendations, the guidelines that we had originally done were actually a little small, a little short for what we needed, so that was kind of a difference in there. Underneath Bulletin 1, or number 1 there, it says that these limits were effective July 1. Those are not the limits that were set by the Neighborhood Improvement Committee on the original document. So I'm not sure where that date came from or why the numbers are different, being improved. Under number 2, the way that this reads is that the program will require the owner to pay 10% of the cost of the repairs and any cost above $10,000 plus the $60 amount, permit amount. I think that that's great that we put a cap on the 10%. However, if you go down to the final statement here, it says if the repair cost is $14,000, the property owner would pay $4,000 towards the total cost and an additional $60 for the building permit. Those contradict each other. In the first statement, it says and any cost above $10,000. 10% and any costs. At the bottom, it says, in this example, the property owner would pay $4,060 for the new roof and $10,000 would be covered by the program. Do you see the contradiction in
yeah,
there?
they should pay $5,060.
Yes. So there's a contradiction. I just wanted to make sure that that was clarified on there.
So I guess I have to ask a question for clarification. Where did this, who gave us this document? Oh,
This is, Lisa converted this document from ECIA's original document from a PDF to Word. I took out all references to ECIA. I have not changed any of the income guidelines.
I have the document that was approved by Neighborhood Improvement Committee and the entire council.
We can fix it. We can fix it.
It's simple.
We can fix it, yeah.
Yeah, we had this discussion.
Because, yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah, we had this discussion because the income guidelines that we have proposed internally and the LMI from ECIA were actually not matching when we did this.
Because you got to go way
a year
back.
ago.
Originally, when we started, we were on the path of not using LMI. And
Right.
so we had different categories. And then, so I'd be interested in what we used last year, because when we created that document, we were supposed to follow the, LMI guide, because we're using, and for everybody else.
LMI funds.
Yeah,
Okay.
so when a house is built, 40% of those taxes that come in from that houses go into a specific bucket that's called low to moderate income bucket. So in order to use that bucket, you have to follow the federal regulated standards of what
We
that
used
is.
city funds last year.
Yeah.
It
Well,
was city. It was
no,
city. I thought it was and went through ECIA, which is why we had to use ECIA's guidelines.
No, so we probably double check, we used LMI, yeah.
Well, we can get this fixed up.
Yeah, there was some discrepancy in there last time. I just know that the income guidelines are a little bit different, so if the guidelines using LMI were done last year, and now we're using that again, I don't understand where the decrease came in. The date on there is incorrect to me, that number amount for in number 2. And then, has this been ran through the departments that will be administrating this?
Yes.
Okay. When this was originally proposed to the Neighborhood Improvement Committee, we were absolutely shut down by those departments. We were told that that was not an option to have it ran, which is why we went through ECIA and paid them that percentage for have them facilitate the program and administer. So I want to make sure that this is going to be followed through in that aspect this time around, as it was not allowed to last time.
We'll get this taken care
It
of.
wasn't, it really wasn't not allowed. So what we
Yeah.
did the first time is, because this is the first time, inaugural time using this, we leveraged our ECIA partners who did this for a living. That's why we kicked it off and made sure. And when I say leverage is, so they basically check with the homeowners what their income status is. They do all that stuff that's very personal, and then they also they're supposed to do the inspections on the roofs as they get completed. So the shift was, let's do this in-house. To do that,
So, Your Honor, I think I'll make a motion to table this, send it back for modifications, and bring it back when it's ready.
That was kind of what I was looking for. Last thing that I would like to know about this, or like to maybe bring up.
Okay.
We have a second from Councilmember Davis. Go ahead.
Last thing is, with this being involved and began through the Neighborhood Improvement Committee, I would not have known about this coming on this agenda tonight had I looked at it and found it myself. I don't understand why that is. I feel like being this program started with the committee that I'm the chair of, I would have been included in the communication list for this, to at least know that there was something happening with it and the changes that were being presented. We worked very, very hard on this. It took a lot of our times. We had multiple meetings on this, and it was kind of feels like what we did was kind of pulled away from us, underneath of us, and I'm happy to see it come back. I love the idea of it being in-house, because it gets us more done. I just wish we would have been left brought in the loop a little bit more.
Okay.
Thank you.
Fair enough.
Sorry. Thanks, guys.
All right, so we have a motion and a second to table the item and send it back to get fixed up. Is there any discussion on that?
Do you want me to just withdraw my resolution? Would that,
Well, we already have a motion and a second to table it.
well, we still have to deal with the resolution as well.
Yeah.
Well,
that takes care of it, doesn't it? No?
Yes.
Yes, if you table it, it takes care of it.
Okay.
Yeah,
I think we can bring this back March 22nd.
because we're not actually voting to approve it. We're just going to table it. We'll vote on tabling it, and then it'll come back. One of you will have to bring it back, technically, right, when something's tabled. So,
One last thing. Do we have a opening time frame on these for when the funds will become available? It just says it's on a first come, first served basis. Do we have an opening date of
Funds are
those
available
funds?
right now.
Thank you. What's he doing?
all right.
So can we, when we do the table, can we table to March 22nd?
Yes.
I'll modify my motion.
So-
I just want to make sure they weren't rushed.
What's that? It'd be to a date certain. What's the word I'm looking for?
Our brains did
The
today.
motion.
To a date, sir?
I like that.
I'm motioning to table this to the next meeting and just get it fixed.
All right. Okay. Do we have a second on that? All right. Can we have roll call, please?
Councilmember Shemmers.
Yes.
Witt. Yes. Healy.
Yes.
Davis.
Yes.
Oben.
Yes.
Westman.
Yes.
Kearns.
Yes.
Councilmember Witt.
Thank you, Your Honor. I have a resolution setting public hearing on transit grant applications. I make a motion that it be adopted as read.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion on this?
Dennis did his work again. Looks like.
Dennis does a nice
Yeah.
job with these.
And he kept the
Is Dennis
levy
here?
down. No, we excused Dennis is, he had a little under the weather.
Okay. I hope he feels better, but
He's
good
on the
work,
road
Dennis.
to recovery.
Can we have roll call, please?
Councilmember Shemmers.
Yes.
Witt.
Yes.
Seeley.
Yes.
Davis.
Yes.
Hoagland.
Yes.
Mussman.
Yes.
Kern.
Yes.
Councilmember Seeley.
Thank you, Your Honor. I have a resolution authorizing and approving agreement between the City of Clinton and Clinton County regarding census blocks within the Comanche Township. I move this resolution be adopted as read.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Discussion on this.
Talking about the island.
Basically, our auditor, county auditor, Eric Van Lanker, reached out to Lisa, and this used to be in the census, or it's a census tract, but it used to be included in that. For whatever reason, it was removed. We're putting it back. This is not a hostile takeover for our brothers and sisters in Comanche. This is the Comanche Township from years and years ago. And this would be, for whatever reason, if somebody ended up becoming a permanent resident on Beaver Island, this would basically, then they would count in this census tract for population.
Can you tell me the current population there, Matt?
0.
Oh.
You mean full-time or
All right.
Seasonal.
legally? Or
Well, this isn't going to help with our DOT money,
true.
is it? Darn it.
Yeah, do we get Councilman Shimmers a boat to
Yes,
visit?
he needs a Ward 1 boat.
Electric motor, though.
Any other discussion? Can we have roll call, please?
Councilmember Shemmers.
Yes.
Witt.
Yes.
Seeley.
Yes.
Davis.
Yes.
Hoagland.
Yes.
Mussman.
Yes.
Kern.
Yes.
Councilmember Shemmers, unfinished business 7P.
Yeah, real quick, the new mowing contracts, are these the same ones that do the intersections along Highway 30?
I thought, no, separate ones,
These
right?
are private property, nuisance property.
Yeah, these are ones that people have 8
Okay.
inches or higher, and it's a nuisance on the ground.
Then I have no further question. I know Councilmember Seeley had, I don't know if he wanted to elaborate any more than I did just now, but.
That was a good question, Councilmember Shimmers. What are they charging us per mow right now on these? Is it a flat rate?
I don't remember.
I could not find it.
Can I call a friend?
You can try 50/50.
I was going to say 20, but that's not right. No, it's more than that. I can't remember.
I saw it.
I thought the contract should make a statement to the effect somewhere, and I couldn't find it either.
Is this nuisance people or is it Public
Yeah.
Works?
This is nuisance.
Okay.
We do have a set. Yeah,
I think 35 sounds right.
I don't remember.
Should the contract state what we're agreeing to? Who talked to the contractors to renew this? I mean, someone would talk about the fee. Are they maybe not here tonight?
No, they're not.
Okay.
Yeah.
How do I?
So, I don't know if it...
Flat fee of $50 or $75, depending on the size of the property.
There you
So
go.
flat fee of 50?
Where is that at?
This in the notice for bidders that went out.
Oh, it's not in the contract, it was in the notice? But this didn't go out to bid.
Okay.
So the contract doesn't need to state the fee, agreed price, or...
But it references the RFP is how it's written.
I thought that this was not out for RFP. That's what it said on the resolution, right?
Yes, this city policy was, with respect to an RFQ, is waived with respect to
Yeah.
these contracts.
And I think that means that we're not going to go out and bid it again for these particular contracts.
So we're relying on the prior RFP?
I believe so, yeah. That's the way it reads. I did not review these, so I'm just speculating, but
Okay.
I think we reviewed them when they were first drafted, and then the city has gone and has,
So I'm fine, I just don't know
So,
if
so I think
anything
on
needs
this one,
modified.
but I think on this one this was the lottery drawing because we already had the two contractors, what they're going to get paid, the 50 or 75.
Okay.
And then they lottery drew to
we
figure
just
out
did the
what
line
properties they
item
would end up
prices.
getting.
Okay.
So that's why this is specific for those two entities for the contract for the lottery drawing.
Okay, so 50 and 75.
Yep.
Okay. And they know that. Just
Yep, I'll double check
whoever
with
did this, just check with them. Thank you.
We'll discount double check.
And look at the payment section on page 6, because it does reference a per-hour basis.
Where at, Rhonda?
Under C, payment, at the top.
Payment.
Payment.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, amount of time and expenses incurred. So maybe we do need to modify this up just a tad bit.
We'll take a look.
What should we do with?
Yeah, I would concur that if
It needs to all
the
jive.
intent of the staff was to change the way we, or to,
Oh, there, okay, good.
Yep. But we'll go back, we'll go back and verify, because the first question I'm going to ask both is, what do you think you're getting paid for these?
Okay.
If they answer 50, not to exceed 75, we're okay, but if they
So
don't.
should we, how should we handle the consent agenda item?
Well, I think, I would recommend this, he has it, to recommend approval, and unless there's something that's haywire, we should be good to go.
Okay.
Doctor?
All right.
I will make a
Councilmember
motion.
Shemmers, you moved for approval?
Oh, sorry.
Sure, yes. I move for approval.
All right.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Last chance for discussion. Can we have roll call,
I
please?
was just going to say,
Oh,
so the approval's based on after the fall.
Yep.
correct. Yep. Can we have roll call, please?
Councilmember Shemmers.
Yes.
Witt. Yes. Seeley.
Yes.
Davis.
Yes.
Coburn.
Yes.
Mussman.
Yes.
Kearns.
Yes.
Councilmember Shemmers, 7Q.
Thank you, Your Honor. In this one, I emailed before the meeting tonight, Anita, I don't know if she's here, but.
Yep, she's back there.
Oh, you back there. I had some changes where it talks about company-issued cell phones to change it to a city-issued cell phone book. In the second paragraph, and I believe it was in the fourth also paragraph, in violation of city and/or department confidentiality policies, kind of a change just for that purposes. And then in the paragraph 2, general cell phone guidelines, I made a recommendation, which I believe she was in agreement with regards to the limit of personal cell phone usage for calls during working hours. She's got the rest of that. We went back and forth on that. I believe Andrew was part of that as well. So just to kind of update and make it more for city as opposed to in general. I don't know if anybody else.
I just will say one thing. So this policy hasn't been updated since 2012. The previous policy went into a lot of definitions about what a cell phone is. I think we all know what that is these days. Our employee handbook in the section about using telephones and cell phones is really kind of addressing it just from a standpoint of you place a phone call on that. I don't know the last time I took a phone call on my cell phone. I'm texting, I'm on social media. Not
Emailing.
today during the day, of course.
You're describing your day to us.
Emailing.
Yeah, checking your email. Oh dear, my mail just got delivered. I wonder what I have because I have a Ring notification. I got a notification from Facebook. We have all of these distractions at us at all times. I would like all of the department heads to have a policy that they can refer to if they've got somebody that might be a little too distracted during the workday to reference.
And the irony is, when we talked about this, it's, God rest Darrell Smith, but when he was the mayor, they actually put, when they built this building in 1978, they didn't put windows because he didn't want people looking out being distracted. Now we have a new window. And it's in our hand.
Yeah.
And so we want to just make sure, as Anita said, we want to make sure department heads just have the ability, do some corrective action. Hey, this is not, we need you focused on the job at hand and not what's in your hand.
Makes sense to me. So,
we'll make those changes.
I could read you specifics, but I know I went back and forth with
Yep,
Anita on this.
we'll update those.
It was just an update. She was in agreement on that, so I don't, if anybody else has anything else, then I would move this to go forward as directed.
with the changes.
Modified by you. As modified by me.
Yep.
As modified by me.
So how will we know the exact
Oh,
changes?
we have a motion.
Second.
Okay.
I'll read them to you if you want.
Or we send them to us after it's
I'll highlight
modified?
them and send it to you.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
It mainly addresses
Like this one.
Changing
you're doing
company
at
to
work.
city.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like here,
Yeah.
Okay.
Personal calls versus work calls.
Yep.
Okay.
I'll do blue font with highlight.
Very well.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Any other discussion? Can we have roll call, please?
Councilmember Schemmer.
Yes.
Witt. Yes. Seeley.
Yes.
Davis.
Yes.
Oberon.
Yes.
Mussman.
Yes.
Kearns.
Yes.
Councilmember Kearns.
I will just say we've already handled it, so I would move to approve 7G.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? 7G. It was the Traffic Study Commission for the street, whatever, I can't remember the street, by Galbraith.
Yes.
Yeah.
12.
All right. Any other discussion? Can we have roll call, please?
Councilmember Schemmer.
Yes.
Witt.
Yes.
Seeley.
Yes.
Davis.
Yes.
Oberon.
Yes.
Mussman.
Yes.
Kearns.
Yes.
Okay. Yep.
So he's been, we're going to vote him the best shirt in the audience tonight. So I'd like to embarrass Justin for a minute. If you could stand up, sir. So I had the privilege to sit with Todd Kinney, Chandra from RPA, Jason Kraft, Andy, who was here tonight, briefing you guys.
Just for reference, this is
I'm pulling up-
7T.
Yep, 7T. Yep.
7T.
And also,
So it is an agenda
Dr.
item.
Dave Brown, I just gave him a doctorate degree. And we this is for Bluff Boulevard, which is phase 2 of the Drive to Prosperity project. We started with 5 engineering firms. We objectively, with criteria, narrowed it to 3. We held 6 hours. They were, an hour and a half, but 6 hours of interviews with the top 3. Shive Hattery came out of the box amazing with some different thinking that we had not looked at for Bluff, some different approaches, less, as we talked about earlier, less grabbing of ground that we might not need to do, less disturbance of people that live along there. I would say Nate was amazing too, and I know this is part of how things in life, but all our questions got put on a board with stickies, and you guys addressed them straight up. They went right into the thing. They answered everything the thing did. It was basically almost 100 across the board in the ranking systems, and we're pumped up. They, just embarrassment, but they're responsible for Main Avenue and 3rd Street over by Pat's Place, that intersection, which is wonderful. I'm kidding. And so we've been doing some other TSIP, traffic safety improvement program. So no, I just wanted to make sure, because he sat with us, he sat through the whole meetings, and just wanted to say thank you, and we're looking really forward to working with you. And McClure, they were in the hunt too as well, and they've been working on this too, but I think just a different perspective is what drove to Shive Hattery. Sir.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it, and thanks for that feedback. We appreciate it. And
Awesome.
Looking forward to get started. And
Have you ever designed a roundabout?
what's that?
Have you ever designed a roundabout?
Many.
Great news on Bluff right now, there's no roundabouts. Not yet. Get people talking tomorrow.
Thank you. Thank you for coming.
Thanks, Justin.
All right.
Thanks.
Councilmember Seeley.
I move we adjourn to 5 p.m. March 22nd, 2022.
Second.
All right. We are adjourned.